Hello and welcome. Today I want to work on this Mavic 851 rear derailleur. You'll notice that the derailleur is missing the hanger bolt and the stopper plate at the back. Judging from the diagram, it's very likely that these fall out. I have never had one physically to be able to compare, but it does look like it's not held on to anything like most derailleurs. It doesn't have a clip. So specifically it's numbers A01034. That's the stopper plate that doesn't have a B tension screw, and the 800-003 hanger bolt. So nevertheless, I got this derailleur and another Mavic derailleur that I'm going to also do a video on for quite cheap, and you can tell by the general condition of this derailleur why I got it very cheap. But it does allow me to make a video on this. So let's begin. So unlike other derailleurs, these ones have the most tiniest clips, and they're actually removable from the looks of it by hand. So I'm just going to kind of get something that can kind of unstick them. So I'm just using this hook tool, but you can probably just use a knife to open them up. I guess you're going to probably bend them slightly when we're going to be removing them. In fact, I'm trying not to. Yeah. So there's one clip, and that's the other one. Okay, I managed to find a tool that can fit into the tiny little slots. Let's see if this makes it a little bit more cleaner and easier. Just by stretching it open. Well, it's come off. I don't know where it's gone. And that's another one. So it appears that you're going to need a vise of some sort of clamp to be able to push these pins out. At least for me, I can't do this by hand. So what I'm going to do is put some sort of circular object to create a bit of spacing on one side, and then the clamp will push the pin through. So I'm going to use my hand clamp to, show this on video. I have a feeling it's going to be quite hard. Let's find out. Yeah, okay. So there's a spacing already here. Now I'm going to need something to really push it through. So this is pretty tedious, but I'm using a screw to further push the pin through, and eventually it will come out. It's actually finally coming out. Let's force a bit more. Can finally actually just pull it out. You can see how rusty the pin was. We can finally lift up the top plate, and very funny, this part just slides out. And we can now take off that plate completely. I noticed if you move this towards here, it kind of undoes a bit of the tension on that spring. So probably ideal to put it in this position before you start removing the rest of the pins. I've added some oil. You could put WD-40 or whatever. And I've been just playing around with this pin that seems to be also the cable stopper, I think. And by doing that, I'm actually able to just take it out by hands. Yeah, it's going to come out. And there you go. So we've got that part as well. And that should come off now. Yeah, top knuckle's off. So for this pin here, I'm going to do the same procedure as I did on the initial one, and we're going to push out. Hopefully it'll be easier now that I've put some lubricant on the pin itself to somehow free it and make it easier to take off. Adding some lubricant here, it's literally freed the pin very easily. And now we can take off the spring, which was in this position when we took it off. So by just using something to hold it, looks like it was enough to take off the final pin. And now we can take off the back plate. Here there's a bolt that's essentially stopping the back cage from moving forward. It's a number 2.5, by the way, Allen key wrench that we're going to need to undo this. I don't know how hard it's going to be. Not very, apparently. So now we've got that bolt off, and normally this should detension that spring inside the bottom knuckle. Going to need a number 4 Allen key. Okay, yeah. Right, so it looks like at the back of this it's not what we need to undo. Rather, we need to undo this bolt here. I don't know why I didn't think of that in the first place. So this will be a number 6. Okay, so I can see the spring. That appears to lift up. This looks like it lifts up. I think, yeah, it does. Okay, I just got a phone call from the tax office. Looks like I owe some money. And so there's this part here. I think this comes up. Yeah, it does. I'm guessing that pushes through. Yeah. Right, well that's done. Right, so a lot of cleaning to do, some stuff to throw away, and we can then move on to the greasing and putting this stuff back on. So everything's now finally being cleaned. I managed to get rid of some of the rust. I filed some of the knuckles that had been scratched to make them more presentable, and got rid of the filth that was between all the parts. Took quite some time. There is some surface rust left on some of these pins, but they're definitely looking better than before. So now we're gonna put this all back together again. So we're gonna grab one of the jockey wheel plates, and we're going to put this part at the back. Now on the top of that, you have this type of stopper plate, and then this part, like a bushing with many holes for the spring, no doubt. I didn't look where the spring went actually. Now that I think about it, we're gonna find out. So there's like a space slot for the for this part here. That's straight. So we're gonna push down the top, and that should no longer move. I'm gonna go ahead and put that for this part as well now while I'm at it. Right, so it looks like when I took it off it was around about here. So we've got this this knuckle that's going to sit in place here. Now for the spring it seems kind of evident, I guess, because there's one part that's sticking out and there's a slit where that part's going to go. Also, just to say, this plate was bent and I had to re-bend it into shape. At least it didn't seem really right the way it was. So anyway, once we've done this, now we can put that bolt through. We're gonna grab the think it was number 6. And this is going to now push down that spring. Okay. So to make this easier for me to work on, I have tensioned the knuckle and the jockey wheel cage, and I've put something in the way in its place. I've put this my hook tools, and now I'm going to screw this on. I'm going to let go in a minute to see if this is actually holding, and it is. Good. Back cage, that will go at the bottom. I've taken the longer pin. It's the only one that can really fit through this length anyway, so it's just a plain regular pin. So we're gonna see if that just goes through, just pushing it. So now we're going to attempt to put the spring for the actual what's it called again, the parallelogram plates, whatever, these plates. I think it goes this way. So to make this easier, as you can see here, you won't be able to align it up with the pin that you need to push it through. So what we're going to do is we're going to tension that and pop it towards here, and then that's going to open it up to the maximum. And then when you're going to put this through, you're going to see that you're going to have more leg room to work on as you push it through. So this actually this part here would have probably been easier to do before installing the jockey wheel cage, but it doesn't matter. By using a plier pushing down on the spring itself, eventually it allows you to line up the pin to the last hole. So we can now put the top plate, which is going to go here. We're going to take the pin that has the anchor bolt, so it's lined up. Yeah. We can take now the last pin, which was the hardest one to actually remove, and it now goes through very easily. So I'm going to put back my rusty clips that I removed before. That one of them's chipped, so that's not good. I think it's over. Yeah, not such a great idea, these clips actually. I don't know where you're supposed to get replacements for that. I don't think you can. Yeah, I guess you'd probably need to have some new clips. No idea where you get something like that. Initially I didn't remove these at the beginning, but I did after. The what is it, like the limit screws or whatever. So for the final part, I'm not going to put back the jockey wheels. As you saw, they're no longer good. I was skeptical about this derailleur being potentially an older 801 from the mid 80s, and that someone had changed the back cage with the white line running on the edges, as that is synonymous with the 851 rear derailleur. I actually have a 801, at least it looks like an 801, an early one, and what I'm probably going to do is swap out the parts that are missing on here and put it onto this one, as this one's well, in a lot better condition. So thank you for listening. I hope this helped you help guide you through restoring or cleaning your rear derailleur. Thank you for listening, and until next time.